Good afternoon. The place known as Australia comprises the traditional states of over 250 First Nations language groups. For nearly 50 years now, Australians have increasingly formally recognized the importance of country and the First Nations people relationships and protocols for conducting business in country. Acknowledging country show respect for the country and for the First Nations continuing connections to country. TASA and the ISA 2023 World Congress to wish the cultural protocols to be known to all and observe. The country we meet on for the World Congress is called Narem. It is a home of Kulin Nation, Wurundjeri, Wawarang people. We reached the closing presidential plenary. I know many of you are so tired at this stage. I would like to let you good news. The outcome of the participation is reach 3,024 in person and 1,700 virtual. So we reach, amazingly, something like 4,700 participants to our Congress. I am thinking of the hard work of Dan Woodman, to Lo Lindsay, to Alifia Busamai Ayanzidi, but also to Sally Daly, and of course, our ISA Secretariat. Before going to our four outstanding speakers for this debate about how to build a just post-COVID-19 world, there is here one person with us who deserves a huge applause. Our dear ISA Secretary, Izabela Barlinska. Not only for her great work on this Congress, but for 40 years of service to ISA. I will start by reading you what I have received from some of our former ISA presidents about her, and I will start by Maggie Archer, who wrote her last piece before passing away. Over 40 years ago, in the executive committees of ISA meetings in Poland, I met Isabella for the first time, standing dignified amid drifting snowflakes to welcome us. As a niece of Magdalena Sokolowska, I assumed this doctoral student was simply helping out with the local arrangements. How wrong can one be? This was not 1 week of her thesis on Virginia Woolf, an early 20th century English novelist, but an introduction to 4 decades of working for her employer, ISA. I got on immediately. And for several years, I wondered if we had done right in encouraging her to leave Poland for the nomadic ISA. The one person with no qualms was Tom Butmore, one-time executive secretary himself before becoming ISA president, who very early recognized Isabella's administrative and organizational talents while the secretariat was based in Brussels. He became her lifelong supporter and friend as one of the rare man at the time who simply saw no incongruity between being female and professionally competent. Both of us were beneficiaries of his enlightenment. Brussels was not to last, and plans were underway for transferring the Secretariat to Spain in 1987. This was not an easy move, as the ISA's understanding about the provision of a base for the Secretariat became entangled in a conflict with an indigenous but a new center of research which counterclaimed the same accommodation in Madrid. I recall some acrimonious negotiations involving the housing of a true enormous table, as well as ISA protestations to the Ministry of Education. When I write about the Secretariat, in fact, in 1987, this means Isabella alone, who was a beginner in Spanish. She had a huge talent in networking, but knew few colleagues in Madrid and had her common sense alone to rely upon as far as the domestic housing market was concerned. Her resilience was remarkable. She rapidly gained the support of the professional association in solving the accommodation problem, showed her talent in consolidation a new working team, fast become invariably fluent in Spanish, and acquired a rooftop apartment that it's hard to believe I have visited for the last time, to share a bottle. She didn't say which bottle, wine, vodka, and whiskey. I don't know. As a sunset over Madrid. Because the executive committee held its annual meetings in a different city every year, Isabella and I traveled together and became globalized before the term existed. Our collaboration intensified when I became president, and only then did I realize how extensive her responsibilities were. From starting a new journal, International Sociology, and introducing Spanish bluntly as a third official language, to the protocol for welcoming the King and the Queens to the World Congress in 1990. All of these tasks impinged upon her and were effortlessly incorporated into her administrative workload. Isabella later returned to her early aim to completing a doctorate, but this time devoted to the Solidarity movement in Poland, and later published in Polish. We never lost touch. Most years, we attempted to take a week's holiday somewhere. Finally, when I became visiting professor at the University of Navarra, it was delightful to fly it in and out of Madrid and spend a couple of days with her, shopping for cushions, visiting the art museums, and opening another bottle of wine, now it's precise, on her roof garden. Isabella enriched very single member today ISA, including those who never had the privilege to meeting her. May she find her return to Poland welcoming and fulfilling. Margaret Archer, 2 April 2023. Now I would like to give to our dear President Piotr Stemka. He is with us online. I will give him the floor to talk.
Thank you, Sari. Sociologists of organization tell us that executive secretaries are very often stronger, have more power than presidents of the corporations. This is even more true in case of association like ours, where presidents are very rarely knowledgeable in the arcana of management. Izabela Barlinska has exercised her considerable soft power in the amiable, friendly, smiling way, but at the same time, fully professional. One may learn professionalism, but you may not learn ethics. Either you have it or you haven't. Isa has it. One of her strongest assets, in my view, is fairness. She has always treated all members in the same way, whether they were coming from the big or small country, whether they were apprentices in the discipline or sociological stars. Everybody could always expect from her help, support, and the smile, which is so important in interpersonal relations. As a president, I could have expected some preferential treatment from my patriot. I am Polish, and she is Polish. And in spite of the fact that over the years we have become friends, nothing of the sort. No insider knowledge, no hints, no hunches, even no support in my particular support in my electoral campaign. I must say that ambivalently, I was a bit disappointed, but also I have appreciated it very, very much. It is extremely important moral quality which Isa has shown over the years. I wish you, Isa, all happiness and equal success in the future avenues of your life. Thank you.
Now we will go to Alberto Martinelli. Isabella has been a pillar of ISA. For many decades, she has dedicated herself to the association with highly professional skills, great organizational capacity, and remarkable propensity to problem solving and teamwork. In the course of many decades, she had cooperated with several quite different presidents and executive committees, ISA representative and members, guaranteeing the continuity and solidity of the association. She is smart, cultivated, well-tempered, gentle, and elegant. I have pleased memories of our cooperation before, during, and after my presidency. I thank her and I wish her all the best in the years to come. I move now to Michelle Viviorca. Isa Isabella. Isa has been Bella with Isabella. Very nice, Michelle. Having been part of ISA since 1982, Mexico, and having worked closely with her when I was president, 2006-2010, I can say that our association would not have been what has been until now without her. She has been always both incredibly efficient and wonderfully friendly. She has been aware of our intellectual and scientific life, part of it, and excellent in administrative matters. Really global and international, and so Polish on the good side of Polish political and social life. Present when necessary and useful, but without any excess. Knowing everything and so many people among us, but never interfering out of her duties. Let me add one word in French. Isabella is not only and much more than a key actor of ISA. She is an elegant person. She is la classe, la grande classe. I wish her all the best for her new life. I come to Michael Barrowy. Margaret Archer tells us how Isabella was recruited by her aunt to welcome the executive committee to Warsaw in 1977 when Isabella was still a student. This was 4 years before Isabella became deeply embroiled in the Solidarity movement. When the martial law was declared on the fateful day in December 1981, it was the underground leadership of Solidarity who encouraged Isabella to take up an invited position in the office of the ISA. The leadership thought her presence in Western Europe could provide an important link between the opposition in Poland and those in exile. To be clear, Isabella was not fleeing her country. She was not seeking asylum in the West. That never occurred to her. She was a loyal citizen of Poland, doing what she could to support democratic forces in Poland. A study of Isabella's life is especially fitting for them of this year's Congress devoted to anti-authoritarian politics. Although never to flaunt her knowledge and expertise, we shouldn't forget that Isabella is a sociologist. While she was directing the ISA, she wrote her PhD dissertation at Complutense University in Madrid. It is a study of everyday life under Polish solidarity and martial law, situated in the changing character of the opposition to the party state. The dissertation was published in Spanish under the title Civil Society in Poland and Solidarity. Although she didn't know it at that time, she shows how this was the beginning of the end of the Soviet order. It is an important reminder that struggles against authoritarianism may not be successful in the short term, but nevertheless, they can have long-term effects. But I stray from my topic. Isabella and her contribution to the ISA. Let us not forget that when she began her association with the ISA in 1977, there were barely 1,000 members. And when she became executive secretary in 1987, there were barely 2,000 members as compared to the number before COVID that exceeds 5,000 members. The numbers of research committees and National Association members have expanded at a similar exponential rate together with attendance of the congresses. She oversaw the introduction of the biannual forum. Throughout these 40 years, from her small office in Complutense University, Isabella has guided the ISA through tremendous technological transformation. Somehow, she has managed to keep the machine going with the able assistance of part-time workers, Nashu, Juan, and Lola. Let us not forget that the American Sociological Association, that has only double the membership, has over 20 full-time staff. Let us be clear, the financial health of the ISA has depended upon the energy, devotion, and the organizational genius of Isabella. As executive secretary, she has successfully negotiated this terrifically fractious organization, a mini United Nations, only because she has studiously kept out of ISA politics. In executive committee meetings, she keeps her thought to her, even under the most intense provocations. The EC makes the decision. Isabella carries them out to the best of her ability, and she is not one to shirk any labor. I still remember her working around the clock to attend to the long lines to register at the ISA Congress in Durban. She has always been in the trenches and on the front lines of ISA meetings, just as kept the ISA going backstage between meetings. She was the one to deal with the many crises we have faced, whether it means switching a conference from one side in the world to another, closure of our office, negotiation for space for the Congress or forum, etc. When it comes to overseeing the budget, it was she who had to make sure that the ISA didn't lose money. Compared to other international organizations in the social sciences, ISA has had a long and thriving history. To this, we all owe Isabella an enormous debt. I wish her all the best as she moves on to her new career back in Poland. I call now Margaret Abraham, our dear former president.
Good afternoon, everybody. I've been fortunate to know Dr. Izabela Barlinska for over 3 decades. I want to take this opportunity to say that I'm deeply grateful for having had the privilege to work so closely with her. Isabella, I'm a little short, so I have to do this. Isabella, your incredible calmness in crisis, multilingual capacity, institutional memory, and attention to all facets of ISA operations have been truly invaluable. Having worked closely with you, especially during my tenure as ISA VP Research and as ISA President, I can certainly state that your tremendous support contributed in important ways to the success of the second ISA Forum in Buenos Aires and the 19th ISA World Congress in Toronto. I know that what we all achieved could not have been done without you and your team's commitment, competence, professionalism, and collaboration. As a feminist, I am also grateful to have had such an amazing woman and most highly qualified professional sociologists at the ISA Secretariat's helm, contributing with vision and pragmatism to ensure the common good of the global sociological community and continuing organizational vitality of the ISA. ISA is a remarkable association, and I am glad that you, Isabella, have been integral to this association's amazing journey. So I honor you and hug you, perhaps this is COVID times, with a huge thank you and success in all your future endeavors. Thank you.
After all these testimonies, I am really speechless. The difference with all other former presidents, I got to know Isabella really very early in my career. I started when I was one of the laureates of junior world competitions in Bielefeld. And so in that time, really, it was my first big conference I attended. So I do remember until today that I asked her so stupid questions, and she patiently replied to all of them. So really, this is something I'm still remember that. Since then, I kept a close contact with her as a member of the executive committee, VP of National Association, and president, and I benefit so much from her advice when I request. And I should confess, I didn't always follow them, but for her credit, this didn't vex her. I mean, this is really very important. And you see all the former president insist on her taking distance about the decision making, etc. Isabella, we had a plan to hike together in one of the mountains in the world. So I really, now, I will say, we should do it, because I would like to keep our friendship. Thank you. So on behalf of ISA Executive Committee, I would like to give Isabella a small gift and a plaque of appreciation for her work. I call our outgoing VP of National Association, Philomena Guterres, to do this. Isabella, would you like to come? Yeah.
May I please read what is written on this plaque of appreciation that we are awarding Izabela Barlinska. The International Sociological Association presents this plaque of appreciation to Izabela Barlinska in recognition of her long-standing and selfless service to the International Sociological Association. Her attention to detail and dedicated professionalism have made a significant impact on communities of sociologists everywhere. given this 30th day of June, 2023, Melbourne, Australia.
And this is a small gift the executive committee contribute. Thank you again to this is from Philippines, very special things. I hope you will like it. Yeah, yeah. Thank you again, Isabella. Yeah. Please.
I think this is the most difficult moment in my 40 years of working for the ISA, because I'm not a speech person, and but thank you very much. But I would like to reverse a little bit story and say, I think I was lucky. I was given a chance to work with you, to work with sociologists worldwide, and it's been fantastic. And I thank the presidents for their trust, for sharing the ideas, going ahead with the projects, sometimes difficult, but we managed. I would like to thank my colleagues at the ISA Secretariat, because I wouldn't have been able to do all that without their support. And again, I think I was lucky. So thank you very much for giving me that chance.
We are lucky, really. Thank you. As Isabella retired, we are so glad to have Cecilia Delgado-Molina join us as Executive Secretary starting from August this year. Cecilia graduated with a PhD in Sociology from the National Autonomous University of Mexico, UNAM. Completed a research stay in Argentina, Germany, and the United States. Recently, she holds a postdoctorate position in the Autonomous University of Barcelona Research Group in Sociology of Religion, in collaboration with the University of Birmingham. She has experience in university community partnership, public funding, financial administration, and staff management. Additionally, she has expertise in web design, digital communication, and social media networking. She is a member of ISA since 2012 and served as a RC22, Sociology of Religion, interim secretary, for which she recently redesigned its website and newsletters. Since the beginning of this year, she held the position of the ISA social media manager. So please join me in welcoming Cecilia Delgado-Molina.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak in the context of this moment of tribute to Isabella's career at the ISA. And to all the above that we listened today, I must add my most sincere thanks for our transition process. Isabella's generosity and respectful accompaniment through these months of transitions that we have been doing has been beyond anything I could have wished for. I have had the opportunity to admire her job, her organization, and her willingness to welcome me and to teach me for this endeavor. My first email with Isabella was to process my registration grant for the 2012 Buenos Aires Forum. And she may not even remember that because she has been in touch with equally thousands of ISA members. I know it well, also because, as Sari already said, I was the former secretary and treasurer of the Research Committee 22 on the Sociology of Religion. And now being in this side of the responsibility, it has been a delight to find that all the history is there, carefully archived, and the dedication of Isabella and love, because that is the correct word, the love that Isabella has for the ISA, is a lesson and inspiration in this path that I'm now embarking on. So, as Sari already presented me, I am Cecilia Delgado-Molina, a Mexican researcher and a migrant with experience in management, but also in communications and social media. And I have had, let's say, a non-traditional path, personal and professionally. So I have multiple experience in multiple countries and cultural contexts, and that is why I applied for this position. I'm bringing these life experiences to serve the ISA, and I will put my efforts into serving to all their members and supporting the new and the forthcoming presidents and executive committee visions. So please be in touch. Muchas gracias.